Have you ever noticed that some people can go through undeniable hardships but still live a great life? Meanwhile, there's other people who experience setbacks and remain stuck for years. Why is that? Is it intelligence, talent, luck? Well, I don't think so. The difference, I believe, comes down to one question. Where are you putting your energy? Today, we're talking about one of the most uncomfortable conversations in personal development, victim mentality. Now, before you click away, I want to be clear. Having a victim mentality does not mean that you haven't been victimized. Those are two very separate things. Bad things happen to good people. People get betrayed. People get cheated. People get abandoned. People get abused. People get fired. The list goes on. The question isn't whether something happened to you. The question is, what are you doing about it now? Because there always comes a point where your greatest obstacle is not or no longer what happened to you. It's the story that you keep telling yourself about what happened to you. And this is where the 3-bucket philosophy comes in. Today, I'm going to give you 5 signs that you live in a victim mentality without even realizing it. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how to bounce back.
You are now listening to the Dee Hankins Show. Life, curveballs, home runs, the Dee Hankins Show. Are you ready? Let's go.
Welcome to the Dee Hankins Show. If this is your first time with me, my name is Dee Hankins. I bridge the gap between trauma and high performance by filtering life through my 3-bucket philosophy. If you find the information in this video or on this channel helpful or useful, please consider liking and subscribing to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Before we get into the signs, let me explain the framework. I call it the 3-bucket philosophy. Bucket 1, my choices. Bucket 2, others' choices. And bucket 3 are natural disasters, acts of God. Most people spend their life exhausted trying to control bucket 2 and bucket 3 and completely ignoring bucket 1. And every victim mentality starts with that mistake. Sign 1. You spend more time explaining your problems than solving them. You ever met someone who had a reason for everything? Why they can't save money, why they can't lose weight, why they can't improve in their relationship or their life, why they can't pursue their dreams and their goals. And to be honest, maybe some of those things are legit, but eventually you have to ask, how much energy am I spending on explaining my situation versus changing my situation? Victim mentality loves to explain. Ownership loves action. It's always been that way, all right? The victim mentality says, let me tell you why I can't. Meanwhile, a resilient mindset says, let me figure out what I can do next, even if the step is small, okay? Sign 2, you constantly focus on what other people should do differently. This is what I call bucket 2. Your spouse should change. Your kids should change. Your boss should change. The people around you should change. The government should change. Your coworkers should change. Everybody needs to change but you. And to be honest, maybe they should. Maybe they should. I am not denying that. But here's the problem. Your life doesn't improve because somebody else finally behaves the way you want them to. Just doesn't work like that. Your life actually improves when you start to focus on the choices that are available to you. One of the fastest ways to identify a victim thinking is their favorite word. They should, they should, they should. Meanwhile, bucket 1 is just sitting there completely ignored. And remember again, bucket 1 is my choices. All right. Let me tell you my personal story. I spent 18 years in foster care. Now think about that. If anybody had a reason for blaming life circumstances, I did. I could spend every single day talking about what adults should have done differently, what the system should have done differently, what social workers could have done differently, and just what life has given me. And maybe some of those things are true, but none of those conversations would have changed my future. At some point, I had to ask myself, what choices belong to me? How do I move into bucket number one? Because that's the only bucket that could help me move my life forward. And then when I did that, that's when everything changed. Okay? So it can happen. Sign 3, you get angry at things you cannot control. This one is huge. You get angry at traffic. You get angry at the weather. You get angry at politics, at the economy, angry at social media, angry at people being people. And we all fall victim to this. And again, the question isn't whether those things are frustrating. Of course they are. People are frustrated. However, in order to live in bucket one, you have to ask, is this frustration accomplishing anything? Because frustration is often a response to trying to control something outside of bucket number one. You can't rewrite yesterday. You can't rewrite history. Yet many people spend years fighting realities that don't care about their opinions. And while they're fighting reality, guess what's happening? Reality keeps moving. Time keeps happening. Sign 4, you confuse understanding your pain with living in it. Now, this one is really, really important. Healing matters. Therapy matters. Understanding your story matters. I tell you all that all the time. Acknowledging trauma also matters. There's a difference between visiting your pain and building a house and living there. At some point, you have to ask yourself, am I learning from this? Am I learning from this, or am I just living this repeatedly? Because some people become experts on being broken, but refuse to be students on how to heal. The goal isn't denial. The goal is movement. We always want to move forward. Sign 5. You spend more energy in buckets 2 and 3 than bucket number 1. Now, this is the ultimate test. Where is your attention? Where is your emotional energy? Where are your conversations? If most of your energy is spent discussing what happened, what somebody did, what somebody should do, what life is giving you or not giving you, you may be living in bucket 2 and 3. But if your focus is, what can I learn? What can I do? How do I respond? How can I respond? What choices are available to me today? Then you're living in bucket 1. Those are all my choices, are all pointed to me. And bucket number 1 is always going to be where the power lives and where you have full control. So I want to leave y'all with this. For the next 7 days, pay attention to your language. Every complaint, every frustration, every excuse, every blame statement, okay? And then ask yourself one simple question. What bucket am I standing in? Because the moment you identify the bucket, you identify your next move. Your bucket number 2, get back to bucket number 1. Bucket number 3, get back to bucket number 1, okay? You have to take absolute responsibility for your life. Now, you're not responsible for everything that happened to you, but you are responsible for what happens next. And that responsibility isn't a burden, it's freedom. The moment you let go of other people's buckets and start to control bucket number 1, which is my choices, that's the actual bucket where you start controlling your life. Speaking of that, if you're ready to take absolute responsibility for your life and learn more about bucket 1, I am putting on an event June 24th, a live Zoom. I'll put the link in the show notes. I want you to come. If you're tired of being sick and tired, if you see yourself constantly having any of these signs and you want to learn to change that, come to the Absolute Responsibility live workshop on June 24th, 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. I'll put the link in the show notes. It's $27 to make the investment to learn how to take full control of your life and change it for the better. Thank you guys so much. Again, if this episode spoke to you in any way, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. That helps me out. Subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. I'll see you guys at the event on June 24th at 5:30, where we're going to take absolute responsibility for our life, and you can become official members of the Bucket One gang. Have a great week, and remember, life throws curveballs, but even curveballs can be hit for a home run.
You owe it to yourself to get it together. Can't control other people, you can't control the weather. Live in the mind choice bucket where you have full control. Stay disciplined to reach your goal. Life will throw curveballs, but you're not just